higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it, but you didn't do it.
Stephen A. Smith's critiques are rarely mild, but this time he didn't hold back. In a searing analysis, the outspoken sports commentator directed his frustration toward WNBA players and leadership, specifically under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Smith voiced a sentiment that's been brewing among fans and analysts alike. The treatment of the league's rising star, Caitlin Clark, goes beyond just one controversial choice. It signals a larger issue of recognition and support. His words served as a wake-up call, pointing to the oversight of one of the WNBA's most promising talents.
Look, you didn't want to, rather. You were a bit hesitant and reluctant and resistant to it. So much so you didn't push for her to be on Team USA. So much so you had people like Cheryl Swoops who didn't even want to mention her name.
Imagine a league where its most thrilling, transformative player seems held back by the very organization she aims to elevate. Caitlin Clark's historic rookie season drew record-breaking crowds, spiked viewership, and reignited passion among sports fans, setting the stage for the WNBA to build on her success. But rather than riding this wave of excitement, the league's reaction has been subdued, leaving fans questioning if the WNBA can harness its potential or if it will continue to stumble. This is only the beginning. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover a league at a critical juncture. Stephen A. Smith isn't pulling any punches as he explores what's at stake if the WNBA fails to make a change. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started.
And everybody talking about other WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them. Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not, until Caitlin Clark came along.
When Stephen A. Smith speaks out, especially with his signature intensity, people listen. This time, his focus was on the WNBA, specifically veteran players and the leadership under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. In a searing critique, Smith accused the league of failing to harness the immense potential of Caitlin Clark, whose record-breaking performances have electrified fans. Smith's words hit at a deeper issue, one that fans and analysts have quietly voiced: the disconnect between the WNBA's top-tier talent and the choices being made behind the scenes. His frustration wasn't just with a single incident. He highlighted a troubling pattern. How could the WNBA let its brightest talent go unacknowledged?
But if you went the opposite direction, it could have helped that much and facilitated you being in an even stronger position to get yours. But you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Wow.
A recent misstep highlighted this issue vividly. During Assist Week, the league celebrated players' assist stats yet overlooked Caitlin Clark's record-breaking assist total. Despite her making history, the league somehow missed posting her exact numbers. The situation worsened when the original tweet had to be fact-checked and ultimately replaced. This oversight felt like a blatant disregard for Clark's accomplishments and left fans questioning the league's priorities.
WNBA put out a post that inaccurately titled or totaled Clark's assists on the season. They got a community note, and then the post was eventually deleted because they wrote 321 instead of 337, which is what Clark had.
And when Clark received her award recognition with nothing more than a simple phone call, the gesture sparked bigger questions about the league's vision and priorities. It left fans and analysts wondering why one of its top players wasn't celebrated in a more meaningful public way.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game. You can't make this up.
It wasn't just critique went beyond his signature intensity. It tapped into a truth that resonated with fans and players alike. This wasn't merely about recognition. It underscored respect, investment, and the WNBA's commitment to growth. Smith's message was clear. If the league couldn't rally around a player of Clark's caliber, what did that mean for other rising stars? He argued that this wasn't just a marketing misstep, but a symptom of deeper structural issues. A hesitancy within the WNBA to make bold moves and fully embrace star power. Clark's influence was undeniable, turning games into must-watch events, drawing new fans and reigniting longtime supporters. Yet, league leadership seemed uncertain on how to effectively build on her momentum.
It elevated television ratings, it elevated attendance, and it damn sure elevated franchise value. But now, something that y'all resisted talking about, opining about, acknowledging.
Smith's critique went deeper than one player. It exposed how the WNBA's approach could hinder its growth at a pivotal time. Fans crave transparency, aggressive promotion of star athletes, and a clear vision for the league's future. Smith argued this wasn't just about viewership, but about trust and forward-thinking leadership. The WNBA, with Clark as a symbol of its potential, stood at a turning point. Would this call for change spark a new direction or fade as just another lost opportunity?
Then are you willing to admit how stupid it was for y'all not to go all in speaking your piece to elevate Caitlin Clark? So therefore even more attention could have come and y'all could have reaped the benefits? Now you're gonna do it anyway, and I get that, but you see my point?
When Commissioner Cathy Engelbert appeared on national TV, many hoped for strong support for the WNBA's brightest star, Caitlin Clark, and a clear vision for the league's future. Instead, her comments left fans, players, and analysts confused. On 60 Minutes and CNBC's Power Lunch, Engelbert's words revealed an unsettling disconnect in leadership. When asked about Clark's record-breaking season, Engelbert's response was telling, "No league's ever about one player," deflecting attention from Clark's historic contributions.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
This sentiment, likely meant to emphasize the importance of the team, instead downplayed the unique impact Caitlin Clark had in boosting viewership, engagement, and overall fan enthusiasm. Fans quickly took to social media to voice their disappointment, seeing Engelbert's remarks as a missed opportunity to celebrate a talent that had breathed new life into the league. Engelbert's approach to leadership became even more puzzling during her appearance on Power Lunch. When the topic of league rivalries came up, she shifted the conversation toward marketing and viewership numbers, focusing on rivalries as a way to drive interest, but failing to address the substance of Clark's contribution.
Black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
But in doing so, Engelbert overlooked a critical issue: player safety and fair treatment. Her public focus on rivalries, rather than addressing substantial concerns about safety and fairness, left both players and fans questioning her priorities. This wasn't merely a PR oversight, it exposed a disconnect between leadership and the league's most pressing issues. While Engelbert talked about boosting ratings through rivalries, players like Caitlin Clark were dealing with inconsistent officiating and physical challenges that could affect their careers. The league's failure to address these safety concerns raised alarms about its commitment to player well-being. Fans aren't just looking for excitement, they demand fairness and integrity, the cornerstones of a credible sports league.
It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much more so than they were 5 years ago.
Engelbert's approach has left the WNBA at a crucial crossroads. Players are pushing for change, fans are demanding better, and analysts are watching closely. The current leadership trajectory risks not only losing the momentum generated by stars like Clark, but also undermining the league's long-term credibility. The pressing question now is whether Engelbert can shift her focus from marketing sound bites to meaningful action. These leadership missteps aren't isolated. They contribute to a larger narrative about the WNBA's priorities. While Engelbert has overseen progress in expanding the league's visibility, these moments reveal a leadership style that, for many, falls short of what the league needs to thrive. Beyond public statements and policy decisions, deeper issues within the WNBA impact every game and every player. What are these problems, and how do they affect both athletes and fans?
I said Caitlin Clark, rising tide lifts all boats. As much as her presence was maximized by the WNBA, you players could have done more to assist it.
While high-profile critiques and controversial leadership statements dominate the headlines, there are deeper issues within the WNBA that affect every game and player. The league has faced consistent problems with inconsistent officiating and ongoing concerns about player safety, two critical factors impacting the quality of play and fan engagement. Players and fans alike have voiced frustration with refereeing that fluctuates from overly strict to bafflingly lenient, disrupting the game's flow and creating uncertainty about how it will be called on any given night. This inconsistency isn't just annoying, it's a potential safety risk. Players unable to predict the level of contact allowed are more vulnerable to injuries, adding to the already intense physical demands. For example, take a look at the footage comparing a foul called on Clark to how the same situation was handled in the NBA. The problem goes beyond just on-court performance. As players like Caitlin Clark push the boundaries of athleticism with sharp cuts and fast-paced drives, the stakes are even higher. Yet the league's response to these challenges has often been focused on marketing-friendly narratives like rivalries, instead of tackling the core issues. This shift in focus can give the impression that the WNBA prioritizes optics over real, meaningful improvements. The issue of player safety ties directly into the officiating problems, which were glaringly exposed during Clark's historic season. With her dynamic, fast-paced style, Clark faced a disproportionate number of flagrant fouls, a statistic that raised alarm bells among analysts. The WNBA's failure to address these safety concerns and enforce more consistent officiating puts not just Clark, but all players at risk.
Yeah, and the one thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list. Obviously, not every, they're humans.
These issues go beyond the players and affect loyal fans who crave fair competition. Fans aren't asking for special treatment, just consistent officiating so they can focus on the game, not off-court drama. The gap between fan expectations and reality grows when calls are inconsistent and safety concerns are ignored, like the technical foul Clark received for hitting the ring post.
And Caitlin Clark gets hit with a technical. After
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball.
Let's see if that kind of call is consistently made throughout the league.
Put Michaela on your wet A in that group. Kennedy Carter nearly picks off the pass, and Diana Taurasi, they'll count the bucket. And Antoine coming up for DT.
This isn't just about officiating or player safety. It's about the bigger picture, how the WNBA must prioritize its players' well-being just as much as viewership. The stakes are high, and the question is whether the league will address these deeper issues before losing the trust of players and fans. Caitlin Clark's breakout season showed the potential the WNBA could unlock with proper support, yet the league's response revealed missed opportunities. Despite record viewership, Clark's rise wasn't backed by sufficient marketing or merchandise, signaling that while players like her deliver on the court, the league is falling short off it.
This league could actually be that dense. Professional league, guys. We're not talking about a rec league. We're not talking about even a high school team. Nobody believes that anybody is that close.
Beyond marketing, the WNBA's player advocacy has faced criticism. While rivalries and matchups boost ratings, they often overshadow the real stories, players' journeys, challenges, and their advocacy both on and off the court. Clark's rise offered a chance to highlight the dual roles of athletes as both competitors and influential voices. Her impact extended beyond her personal brand, drawing attention to the WNBA's potential to reach new audiences. Yet despite this, the league failed to capitalize on the opportunity. Now, at a critical juncture, the WNBA must decide, will it learn from these missteps and advocate for its players, or continue letting these golden moments slip away?
Staying with the WNBA playoffs. Let's stay here. let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated.
Caitlin Clark's debut season wasn't just remarkable. It was nothing short of a revelation. Her brilliance on the court captured the attention of sports fans worldwide, from casual viewers to hardcore basketball enthusiasts. Clark's breakout performances revitalized the WNBA, drawing in unprecedented viewership numbers and introducing new fans to the league. However, the WNBA's response to this surge of interest has raised serious concerns. The muted recognition of Clark's historic Rookie of the Year win, coupled with Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's controversial public statements, revealed a glaring disconnect between the league's leadership and the opportunities before it. The reluctance to fully embrace Clark's star power, alongside unresolved issues like inconsistent officiating and concerns over player safety, has sparked a broader debate about the WNBA's future. Fans and analysts alike are increasingly aware of the stakes, with many questioning whether the league will rise to meet the challenge or squander its potential. Clark's influence is more than just a flash in the pan. It represents a pivotal moment in the league's evolution. Her performances have not only brought fresh energy to the WNBA, but also showcased the untapped potential for growth, far beyond what anyone had anticipated. However, potential alone won't sustain the league in the long run. Without meaningful changes, the WNBA risks missing out on a golden opportunity. Clark's breakthrough season highlighted just how much untapped potential the league has, but it also underscored the systemic issues that need to be addressed. Fans want to see a league that prioritizes integrity, fairness, and, most importantly, the safety and well-being of its athletes. The inconsistency in officiating, which often leaves players uncertain of how the game will be called, poses both a risk to player safety and the integrity of the sport. These are not just minor irritants. They have real consequences that can impact careers and fan engagement. For the WNBA to capitalize on Clark's meteoric rise, the league must act decisively. This means addressing the fundamental issues of player safety, implementing fair and consistent officiating, and giving stars like Clark the recognition and support they deserve. The league's leadership must align their actions with the expectations of both players and fans, ensuring that the WNBA is more than just a platform for occasional flashes of brilliance, but a sustainable and thriving league. The window to act is closing, but the reward for doing so is immense. A stronger, more energized league with a loyal, growing fan base. Caitlin Clark's journey serves as a symbol of what the WNBA could become. A league that celebrates its stars, listens to its players, and adapts to the ever-evolving demands of modern sports culture. The path forward is clear, but it requires leadership that is willing to prioritize more than just viewership and marketing. The integrity and well-being of its athletes must be at the forefront of any decision-making process. Only by making these changes can the WNBA transform moments of brilliance into a lasting legacy that inspires future generations. The time for change is now. Will the league rise to the occasion and meet these challenges head-on, or will it let these pivotal opportunities slip by? The choice is in the hands of the WNBA's leadership, and the consequences will echo for years to come. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.